the fallout over immigration raids to preparations for a huge military parade, it has been a busy week in the political world. For the latest on the headlines, we're joined by Scott MacFarlane in Washington. So, Scott, we're going to start with the controversy and new federal policies on immigration enforcement. There's been a lot of back and forth over the National Guard and who is in control. So what is the latest?
Some of this is now moving to the courts, where you have this quick series of high-octane legal decisions over the past 24 hours, where the state of California sued to get a court order to get the National Guard away from those facilities in Los Angeles. The judge sided with California, but the appeals court ended up putting a pause on that ruling, so the Guard stays where it is, and the legal battle will continue to be fought in appeals courts and likely the U.S. Supreme Court. That's the legal battle. The political battle is much larger, and we had this marathon day Thursday where Governor Walz was here testifying at this all-day congressional hearing over the basic argument of what should states be doing with the federal government with immigration enforcement, and that question was not really answered. It's going to be an ongoing dispute, not just in Minnesota, but nationwide.
Let's talk more about that, Scott, because, of course, in Minnesota, people saw that our governor, Tim Walz, grilled about Minnesota's immigration policies on Capitol Hill, and the hearing was heated at times. So what are we hearing in response to that from maybe other leaders in other states?
The U.S. House Oversight Committee, which held that hearing with Governor Walz as a witness, is known for heated exchanges. It is the theater of the U.S. House. That committee always engages in dramatic back and forth, and I don't think the governor was terribly surprised by the types of questions and the types of back and forth he was part of yesterday. But there's no sense Congress is coming up with a brand new law to change how immigration is enforced across America, to bind states to what Trump wants to do. But this big spending bill they're trying to pass through the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate with local votes is likely to beef up funding for border protection, for federal agents to have more manpower to deploy in immigration enforcement. That would be true in Minneapolis. It would be true nationwide.
And Scott, back to Washington now. So the city is getting ready for the largest military parade there in decades. That is tomorrow. We should also note that it is President Trump's birthday. So what can we expect from this parade, and why do this?
Yeah, at night on a Saturday for a parade, which means you could have visitors lining the streets in Washington, D.C., and there's every expectation you will. But this city is fortified in a way we rarely see. Black metal fencing on the sides of those iconic streets. They're actually putting metal on the street surface itself to prevent damage to the pavement from those heavy tanks going down those famous roads. And there will be an air display in an area that's usually a no-fly zone. So some of this is going to look and feel a lot different than we're accustomed to in the nation's capital, but there's still that political foundation beneath this parade. People accusing the president of doing this in a self-aggrandizing way on his birthday. It's going to cost tens of millions of dollars at a time the administration is cutting federal agencies, presumably to save money.
All right, Scott MacFarlane for us in Washington, kind of peeling back the curtain and decoding Washington for us. We appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.